This is the In-Flight News, presented for Qantas by the 9 Television Network of Australia.
Hello and welcome to the morning news. Ahead in this bulletin, an English backpacker is alive and well after spending 12 days in the Australian bushland. Tsunami alerts cancelled following an earthquake off the New Zealand coast. And a billionaire housing village with some odd rules. An English teenager who survived 12 freezing nights lost in the Blue Mountains west of Sydney could receive up to $1 million if he chooses to cash in on his survival story. Jamie Neal walked out of bushland yesterday after surviving on seeds and huddling under logs.
It was the moment a father thought was lost forever.
Coming up after the break, all the finance and weather details in Australia and around the world. To finance news now, and our share market's two-day winning streak is set to continue today following a rally on global markets overnight. Wall Street has been given a boost as investors respond to that better-than-expected quarterly profit result from technology giant Intel. Its shares have jumped just over 7% in late trade. And investors are also welcoming the US Federal Reserve's upgrade of its economic growth forecast. The Fed has released the minutes from its June meeting this morning and has raised its GDP forecast for this year from a contraction of 1.5% to just 1%. But the outlook for the jobs market is looking grim. The central bank has downgraded its prediction for the unemployment rate and is now expecting it to peak at between 9.8 and just over 10%. And there's been bad news on the UK labour market, with the unemployment rate climbing to a 13-year high. More than 280,000 British workers lost their jobs in the first 3 months of the year. That's more than double what economists were expecting. The total number of people who are now out of work has surged to a staggering 2.4 million. Let's take a look at the international market numbers now. And in Australia, the All Ords jumped 58 points yesterday, or 1.5%. In Asia, Japan's Nikkei finished flat, up just 7 points, while Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index surged 372 points. And in Britain this morning, the FTSE 100 Index has closed up 108 points, or just over 2.5%. To the US markets now, and Wall Street is rallying this morning. The Dow Jones Index is up 218 points, while the Nasdaq has climbed 53 points, or 3%. Commodities are also looking good. Gold is stronger, while oil has jumped to $61.65 US a barrel. To currency markets now, and the US dollar is mostly weaker, buying 70.8 euro cents. And turning now to the euro, it's worth $1.41 US. And finally, the Aussie dollar is mostly stronger against the major currencies. It's buying 80.3 US cents and 48.9 British pence. Just recapping our main stories, and an English teenager who survived 12 nights lost in the Blue Mountains could receive up to $1 million if he decides to cash in on his survival story. And all tsunami warnings have been lifted in Australia after a powerful earthquake struck off the coast of New Zealand. Now to the weather forecast for Qantas destinations around the world, and starting in Australia, sunny in Brisbane, Sydney 15 degrees there with a chance of a shower. Fine though in Canberra, a few showers for Melbourne and for Hobart, rain in Adelaide and Perth, and a top of 29 degrees in Darwin. Then across the Tasman to New Zealand, partly cloudy in Wellington and also for Christchurch. Sunny in San Francisco and in New York. 10 degrees for Buenos Aires. Sunny in London and in Frankfurt. 17 degrees at Johannesburg. Rain in Mumbai, storms for Bangkok and Singapore. And finally, storms in Shanghai and a cloudy day in Tokyo. And that's the morning news, finance and sport. I'm Elvina Simpson. Have a great day.